Hello, everyone. Welcome to another, political recap stream that's supposed to be on a Friday, but there were things that popped up. Sorry about that. Here on the Moisky Live channel, joining me as always is my co-host, Trups. Say hello, Trups.
Hello, Trups.
How is Trups?
Trups is all right. Trups is it's weird. It's weird doing it on a it's weird doing it on a Monday. Yeah.
The beginning of the week's a bit of a strange one, but
Yeah.
I had a Halloween party here. It was I say party. Yeah, you know what? Maybe you should have done it yesterday. Doesn't matter. But things just get in the way. It happens. Why were we late? I assume Trups were stuck in traffic. Simple.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. We did discuss earlier daylight savings, and rather amusingly, he didn't notice I wrote daylight savings, so he asked me the very question about daylight savings, even though I'd already mentioned it. But we got it. We worked it out, so it was fine.
Yes, I'm bad when it comes to scheduling, so I will ask the same question over and over again.
You did,
just to make sure I'm not insane.
You know, okay? I'll be honest, it's fine because you've got daylight savings coming up soon, I believe. This weekend,
yes,
is it not?
Next week, yes.
So not this weekend.
On Sunday.
This Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it won't matter. It won't matter for the show on Friday, but it'll matter for later.
Okay, but that's one less issue to concern ourselves with. As a quick question to the chat on YouTube, do let me know if he and I sound balanced as far as audio levels go. I'm going to try and work out where this bloody audio balance is and screenshot it so I know it's the right one. How was the 2 weeks plus that you weren't here, Trups?
Well, okay, so I guess that's how long ago was that? That was, so I was traveling, gone for that time, and then it was the Halloween week, right? So, had a pretty eventful couple weeks actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had more or less a good time. Halloween is always my favorite time of year, so at the very least, I always have a good time during Halloween.
It's a new experience on my end because we had a party all set up and everything. I bought a Fiend mask, a WWE Fiend, because I figured he's left. I'll get the most the best one they've got on their market. Because I always wanted a Kane mask when I was younger. Never bought it.
Oh, of course.
So I thought, you know what, I'll get a Fiend mask. And we invited all these people. They all said, "Yeah, we'll be there. Don't worry. We're gonna have an absolute laugh. The kids are gonna have a great time." No one turned up.
Really?
Literally
no one? Not a single soul?
Only the kids, my nieces and nephews. My dad was here to sort out a solar panel, which there's another story for that. Oh, don't you worry, it's amusing. And the friend of the family who stays here on the weekends anyway. And I'll tell you about the solar thing before we get into this. So he bought a solar panel for my cabin because I mentioned that I was considering using solar power for it because it would make things easier and save me money on having to get a hard line from the house. And so he went online and bought a panel. Now, he has had to buy a different one since. It cost a lot more money. The one he bought is about as long as your keyboard and didn't realise when it said, "Oh, this could power your camper van," he didn't realise it meant the equivalent to charging up someone's phone in a cabin.
Oh.
My dad's a bit stupid. And so he spent £400 buying a proper one. But
that sounds more correct.
Yeah. We're not. I at the moment though can't really set it all up though because I've got to sort out the big living space floor first. Because I need to make sure that's all varnished and sealed and properly treated, which I'm working on now because it'd be interesting to find out if this would work. But I don't want. He's he's talented, but certainly a woodworking talented guy. He kind of wants to bodge a lot of things in the sense of so the batteries need to be stored in a box. His view is, introduce some pallet wood. You can just hide it under that. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. Can you sand it down so it doesn't look like it's shit, please?
I see.
I mean, it's not about. I'm not trying to sound like a snob, but can we make the wood look nice? And not so that if I put my hand on it...
The answer is usually yes.
You would have thought so, but I guess at least he's deferring to me on this one because it's my cabin.
So usually.
So he wouldn't. I don't think he would for anyone else. It's just because at least I've made my mind up what I want. But the panel, the small one, it's on Moistonia. It's so pathetically small. It's very funny because he was so excited to get it, and when it arrived, I can imagine the deflated look on his face because he didn't look at the size dimensions.
That's kind of sad, actually.
It's adorable. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that amusing anecdote. There is a picture on Moistonia. If you're a patron or a member, by all means, go there and look at it. It's pathetic. Yep. So where would you like to start this week, then, Trups?
Poof. Well, since we're having to recap 2 weeks worth of crap,
okay.
You want to go back the furthest?
Well, I guess then we'll start with the fact that Human Rights Act was trending on Twitter for the United Kingdom. The Human Rights Act is a bit complicated. Many countries have agreed to a generalized version of it. Yes. The Human Rights Act is, in the UK, a British law. It's not a European law. It is enforced by British judges in British courts. Parliament, though, UK government, more notably, kind of want to change something. They want to reform the Human Rights Act in the United Kingdom. Because they want government to introduce legislation to, and I'll quote this, correct court judgments. Now this, well, it's spelled incorrectly, judgment, there's an E missing, but I'm pretty sure that's what it meant, not judgments. But this raises an alarming sort of idea.
Yeah.
Government shouldn't be overriding courts. If they could, they would have done that during Brexit when the Supreme Court kept shutting them down.
So, I don't know, because so for us, our Supreme Court is technically talking about the letter of the law, and usually is talking about how laws are to be implemented and actually, like, what's the word? Interpreted by legislators.
Yeah, you'll see different system,
whether
though.
or not something is right. It's constitutional. Whether
ours is not.
Right.
This is why it's a bit more complicated because Dominic Raab, who is the oh god, what is he now? He's deputy leader. I think he's the Justice Secretary now. He suggests that the European Court of Human Rights is imposing too many obligations on the state rather than defending individuals from undue interference. Warning that foreign criminals' use of acts' right to family life remained an issue, and he intended to address the 100 to 200 cases a year whereby foreign national offenders aren't being deported because they're abusing the system in place. So he wants to create a mechanism that would allow for them to overrule the courts. The thing here is, there is a mechanism for it. It's called UK Parliament. If you want to get rid of somebody, do it in Parliament then. If you want to overrule a court, you've got to obey the law of the land. In this context, I don't agree with the position of them because if a government can overrule a court, then what's the point of the court? It kind of waters down what they can and cannot do.
Or what they're supposed to do at that point.
And so understandably, many have criticised Dominic Raab for this. The one I did agree with was someone saying 47 countries have signed the Convention for the Protection of Human Rights and Fundamental Freedoms. It sets out universal protections that people should have from their government. And what sort of a government would seek to remove them and why?
Okay.
I kind of agree. Because you can't be. It seems a bit. So somebody had. There were other comments related to this pointing out that many said during Brexit that the Tories would do this. They would find a way to erode human rights if they could. I don't think they could get away with it, but annoyingly, that tinfoil hatty theory is being kind of proven a little bit true because they want to change it so that they can overrule something they don't like. Forgetting that when they're then voted out of office eventually, somebody else
Mm-hmm.
of the other side will have that same power, and I'll be honest, they could probably screw the opposition.
Oh, that happens all the time, and people are usually slow to remember that the pendulum swings the other direction eventually. I feel like a lot of politicians have this delusion that with enough of them in power, they can expand their rule over the common folk.
Yeah.
Um, while they're in power. Take Nancy Pelosi for instance, right? And her family being, controlling California for the past 30 years. The fact that Gavin Newsom is her nephew by marriage. Um, so like that is an issue. But people who are in power will try to do their best, try and maintain their power.
Yeah.
Very few people who try to expand their own ability will ever seek to do so in an equal and opportune manner so that both sides have a fair shot. They are usually trying to do it just for themselves.
Yeah.
So there is that.
Yeah, I can't add much more beyond that, to be honest. It's a bad idea. That's what I think. Simple.
Agreed.
I'm going to address a couple things from the chat. Russell, Moomin writes, fuck you Moomins.
What's a Moomin?
It's a cartoon hippo thing. I remember it as a kid, vaguely. Reese, all governments erode human rights. That is true. It's a very lengthy discussion that can be had on that, and I'm not going to have it.
It is very true, though.
True. Bimby, having a Bill of Rights doesn't mean you get those rights. Trubs?
Correct. Well, okay, so here's the thing. The Bill of Rights does not grant you the rights. It is acknowledgement and it is insurance that the government may not trample on those rights. In theory. In practice, they do so daily.
That sounds very American. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Okay. Well, with that then, should we find something American to talk about? Because annoyingly, all I've got here is China harvesting organs and face cut at the moment. I have to scroll through all these sources to find something.
So if we want to talk about something older, we can talk about the the Netflix walkout that had happened.
I do have a source for that. Yes. Let me just you explain the context of this.
So a couple weeks back, we are going to go a little further back, and Dave Chappelle had put out a new what's it called, the stand-up
comedy special.
It was actually pretty good, actually.
Saw clips from Bearing, because Chappelle's The Backlash. The guy made 24.1 million for this one special.
Did he? I did not actually look at the numbers.
That's how much it cost to make it, because that was all leaked from someone internally. I know this because the Bearing video.
Good job for him. Yes. Yeah, true. Well, good job for him anyway, because he's got enough notoriety, enough money, to be able to say what he thinks and feels without this fear of cancellation. And so in his jokes, if you ever actually paid attention to said jokes, he talked a lot about the LGBTQ community in particular.
Yeah.
And some of the things that were a little bit more spicy, the most obvious issue that people had taken was one of his statements in which he said he was on, quote, Team TERF.
Oh, exclusionary radical feminist. I'd heard that about that. I didn't know if that was true or not.
He did say it, whether or not it meant anything.
Yeah, it's hard to be a comedian, isn't it?
Well, okay. I shouldn't phrase it that way because it's technically not true. It did mean something. He basically had the framing that every person passed through a vagina to get here, to be human.
Yeah,
I know, right? Everyone was born to be here. And that happens with women, right?
Yeah.
They have not yet figured out a way to make trans women be able to have children. When we get there, because I believe we will, because science is crazy like that, we can amend that statement. We haven't gotten there yet, so deal with it.
Just for the sake of disclaimers, Trups' transphobia is not reflective of this channel.
How dare you? I am not transphobic in the slightest.
Joking, of course. I have a trans friend.
Trans friends. I also have black friends. I have white friends. I'm just. So
You're a multicultural friend. I gotcha.
There you go. Yeah. But so all that, right? That was what he had said, and it pissed a bunch of people off. But they neglected to notice why he said the things he said. So while saying that, he explained that, much like the statement that I just made, Dave Chappelle also had a trans friend. And this is all very important to the story, I guarantee you.
Context.
And he talked at length during his special about a friend of his who I believe, I don't know which way they went, but it was a trans individual who loved when he made edgy jokes. It was something that she really, really enjoyed. And when he would make crass jokes, she would end up defending him from crazy LGBTQ activists who would try to drag him. And then she, I believe it was a trans woman, would then get dragged because of it. And she has since passed away. I don't remember of what, but he said that he made a lot of the jokes because that friend would have liked that.
Yeah.
And so for the grand Twitter mob to be as upset as they were means that there were two things. One, they didn't watch the whole clip. Two, they didn't care that individuals among their their self-described ideology thought differently.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things before you continue. Firstly, Chat's pointed out Daphne Dorman, male to female, died of suicide.
Thank you.
And this actually does remind me of something else, because since this happened, many people had gotten quite cross about that special because they hadn't watched the whole thing for context. And as is tradition, as is customary with morons, context does not matter with these idiots. And that's the problem, because they don't care for it. And Chappelle had actually said he would debate anyone on this with a number of conditions. One of those conditions was you had to watch the entire special from start to finish. The other one being you had to say that, what's her name? Hannah Gadsby was not funny, because they also have a special on.
That was funny.
They have a special on Netflix as well. Now, I found it fascinating for a number of reasons, because firstly, that can be proven factually true if you use Rotten Tomatoes. Because while 9 reviewers have said, the journalist types, whoever they are, the professionals, have said that Chappelle's special is trash, 49 had to back up and say that Hannah Gadsby's was great.
Oh, really?
I noticed this. I thought, that's interesting. It took 9 reviewers to get a very low percentage for Chappelle, but it took 49 to give her 100%. That's fascinating. And then you've got a really high audience score for Chappelle and a really low one for Gadsby.
This is pretty consistent on Rotten Tomatoes. They hate things that are not woke. If you look at like the new Joker, for instance, that I say new, but it's actually pretty old at this point. But like when that came out, it had gotten review bombed, but the audience score was great. And basically, if you see something that might have had bad press because of something that an actor did or something like that, you'll notice that the critic score very, very low. Audience score usually pretty high. in comparison. Another good example of this would be things like the CW's Batwoman, and things of that nature as
How
well.
on earth that's still going, considering how bad it is?
Exactly. Because the critics said it was good. Because I seem to remember. Somewhere in the past, there was an entire movement, a gate, if you will, discussing ethics in journalism surrounding similar things.
I wonder what that
Yeah,
was called.
yeah. I think 2015 was a fun year.
It was a strange time to be alive. I'll give you that.
Yes, definitely. Definitely helped spawn a whole bunch of creator channels like mine.
Never mind. Which one? All of them. Yes.
Yeah, all of them. Actually, almost all of the commentary channels spurned from that time period.
They did.
Because there was so much bullshit.
Yep.
And no one accepted it. But, okay, so now we look at this situation where Netflix had staged a walkout because they refused to put up a content warning on Dave Chappelle's special talking about his alleged transphobia and bigotry. Dave Chappelle basically had a win for a hot minute because the CEO wasn't doing anything. Yeah. Then the vice president came out and said, okay, maybe I should have handled this better, trying to appease the mob, which was really only...
Never works.
Yeah, never does. Works. Which is really funny because when I was digging around for a hat for Halloween yesterday, my fiance found a shirt that I had purchased, and it is the "You Dirty Dirty Smear Merchants" shirt that I bought from Sargon when he was a candidate for MP.
That's relic material. That is.
Oh, it's great! I'm so happy that I have it. Yeah, no, that's literally the thing. And all these Netflix employees were basically marching around, and some dude goes out there and just has a sign, and it says, "I like Dave."
I like Dave.
I like Dave, and they tear down his sign, leaving him only with a stick. And in the video, you hear them go, "He's got a weapon."
Oh, was that the guy with the long hair?
I don't remember if he had long hair, but he was chubby.
There was a guy with a bit of a beard and long hair, and he was holding. I think he was holding up a sign. Thing is, I'm pretty sure he was there just to troll them. I think I remember seeing.
Probably the same guy, yeah.
I recognized him from a podcast. I think.
Oh, was it?
I think he is from a podcast of some kind. He looks very familiar, but I can't remember where. It's not like Steven Crowder, I promise.
Oh yeah, no.
Vito. Is that who it was? It was Vito.
Was it? Cool. Well, shout out to that dude for being a bro.
Yeah. It was a very amusing video. But I know a lot of people were like, he shouldn't be there. Well, he was winding
up. The whole thing was such just a cluster of stupid, right? Like, first of all, I love that every time this is in the news, right? Every time the Tolerance Committee is in the fucking news, it's because they're being intolerant.
It's somewhat ironic, of course.
Their argument always is, well, we don't have to be tolerant of intolerance. But the irony of that is that they're the ones being intolerant and authoritarian. You know, somebody says, I have an opinion, and they go, how dare you have that opinion? Mm-hmm. And they literally assault them.
So,
in this case, at least.
I'm just going to... One little detail I have bothered to find something on. The employee that leaked the information about the cost of the special was fired for leaking it.
Boo.
And there was some backlash about those who staged the walkout, including the person who fronted it. But I can't remember why. And it bugs me. I think it has something to do with their own bigotry, I believe.
Oh, I'm sure.
Which wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, let's think. This was probably in, California that all this happens? That's probably where they're headquartered?
No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, literally, the entire place is fucking filled with, we'll call it degeneracy.
Would you like to talk about something else that is also American?
Sure. What do you got for me?
There was a trending subject called Truth Social.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware.
So Donald Trump announced that Trump Media and Technology Group will be merging with Digital World Acquisition Corp to become a publicly listed company called Truth Social, which will be out in early 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Floor is
I signed up for it already. Did you?
Yeah, of course I fucking did.
Yeah, I signed up for it. So as soon as that beta comes out, I'm gonna set that shit up. I'm gonna start monopolizing the whole area for myself. That's what a business person does.
Yeah, of course. I tried it on Gab, failed miserably. There was it's probably because I'm too neutral.
Not Gab though. Sometimes.
Yeah, Mikhail Phelan, that was a Twitter user. I archived one of their tweets. Was just able to set up an account using the handle @DonaldTrump on Truth Social. Although the site is not officially open, a URL was discovered allowing users to sign up anyway. So he is apparently officially Donald Trump.
Well, I mean, that just means that he's going to be @Donald Trump, and then the other one is going to be @Donald J. Trump.
Or real Donald Trump, Unless people have already exploited this and taken them out, in which case it's more than likely that Trump could just override them and take it from them.
Yeah, I was going to say, he probably owns it, so it's like @Jack. Same thing. Like, I'm pretty sure anybody who tries
at Donny T.
This is mine. This is mine. Even though he was the first tweet, so whatever.
Big Donny T. That's what it'll be.
That's great.
Big Donny T 45. Or God Emperor.
Yeah.
I like that.
The best president.
I saw a lot of people getting quite annoyed about this platform existing. It'll breed far-right wingers.
Its existence.
It's going to be right-wingers and alt-right and all the racist fascists everywhere. Shut the fuck up. You're not going on there. Why do you care? You were cheering when people were taking off Twitter. You're complaining now they're creating their own space again? Shut the fuck up.
Exactly. It's like, hey, man, we're just following your fucking advice, man. You said go get off Twitter, make your own thing. Okay, we're doing that. Fuck off.
Yeah. Just fuck off. I personally am more than happy to go on any platform as long as they're not trying to suppress people a bit at all. And annoyingly, Twitter is guilty of this, but we are in a position where we need it. Well, and that annoys me so much. By the way, I just remembered something. I wanted to quickly go back to the Netflix thing. Many of you will have heard Keemstar's retiring soon from YouTube. And in his video, he made the point that people now are afraid to speak. And because of that, everyone's too busy protecting their brand and not interested in speaking the truth. So when people and so this obviously ties into Chappelle because he don't give a shit. Okay, back to the Truth Social thing though. What is Trump's going to do when it first opens? What's the first thing he's going to truth tweet-ish out?
I'm going to save that for there because if I say it here, you're not gonna like what might happen to the channel.
Do not get me struck. Man.
I'm not going to. So that's a bad question. You probably don't want the answer, but stay tuned. And when it comes out, I will use the left-wing platform to announce my right-wing platform.
I mean, I could think of some really dirty things to say.
I don't think dirty is the word. I think it would be more like. If I decided, oh yeah. See, I would just say a certain name that you're not allowed to say on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube because they're a quote unquote whistleblower that had already had their name leaked. But whatever.
For some reason, I've gone blank. But
I'll tell you after the stream.
Yeah, do tell me after. I was thinking of just making dirty jokes, but I might just go simply with. I like toast.
Yeah, that might be good. That might be good.
I'm just being nobody.
I'm definitely going to have that up and running when.
Will that diminish your presence on Twitter, or are you going to still shitlord it?
No, fuck no. I'm gonna do both. And probably I'm probably gonna cross post a lot.
You know what's gonna be annoying? Chances are, if Truth Social does go public and all this nonsense, I have a strange feeling it's not going to be on the App Store or Apple App Store, whatever. Because again, it's that thing of every major not going with the status quo group has had to be creative to get an app, or not have one at all because of how they operate. So you end up with browser use only. People like me,
Yeah,
my phone really comes in handy. I don't want to have to go on the browser to tweet something out.
true. I don't know how they're going to handle that because remember, it's not him just creating his own. He's merging with an already existing digital media company.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they have already existing contracts or existing agreements for their products. Of
Yeah, you got
course,
a point.
some people may not give a shit, but I'm not privy to any information about their products in particular. What I
Yeah.
do know is that after he announced this, the next day, the stock for that DWAC, for that media group, went up over 1,000%. Well, at least WACW did, and WAC had gone up. I think it was like 50%, and then they stopped trading on it, very much a la fucking GameStop.
That sounds very like any cryptocurrency that Elon
Yeah, that
Musk
too.
tweeted out.
Exactly, that too. But it pissed me off so much though because I watched it live. The announcement was of it was Donald Trump Jr. on Tucker Carlson. I watched it live because I remember I was in the hotel. I didn't
Yeah.
have anything else better to fucking watch at the time. So I was watching Tucker Carlson and I saw him announce it, and that's when I signed up for it. But I didn't think of the stock implications. I could have made so much fucking money.
F in the chat for Trups and
Yeah,
his inability to make money.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. If I was a bit more of a cutthroat businessman, maybe I would have thought that one through.
Sometimes you just have to take a punt, and I get it, but I'm too lazy. I also, my money's all tied up, so I couldn't have jumped in either. Not that I would have. Unlike you, I don't have. You're more cutthroat than I am.
Yeah, that's fair. But I didn't think about it as a opportunity to make money. Though I should have.
You should. Sooner you can pay off your mortgage. Sooner you can focus your monies on other things like math,
graphics cards.
Yeah, that too. That too.
They're expensive, and I'm trying to upgrade my PC. That's not working out great.
I mean, I wouldn't mind getting a new graphics card. That'd be kind of cool. Okay, so next on the agenda, trending subject: Mythbusters. Why the US faces catastrophic defeat in a hypersonic Third World War. And this is because China launched a hypersonic missile into space.
Right. So
what is this?
Okay, so while I was traveling, apparently China had launched a hypersonic missile around the world.
Yeah, I'll put a source in the tab for you.
Yeah. And everyone was kind of like freaking out, like they had never seen something like this before. Which is really weird because like a week earlier we had launched another Minuteman.
What's that?
So a Minuteman is a missile that we have had since the Cold War, and it has the ability to go. I think it was it like over like Mach 20, something like that. But we launched that probably. I think it was August. I think. And I'm pulling up the article, see if I could oh, there it is. There's the article. And basically we have things like this hypersonic missile thing, right? But it's not exactly we don't have the hypersonic capability. We tried to test it and it failed. But a lot of people are afraid because this appears to be China passing us by in technology and weaponry.
Yeah.
I don't think I can lean into that thought too much. Because I think we have more capability than we let on. Just in general. So I'm not necessarily as concerned about this hypersonic missile thing. what I am concerned about is that China at a similar time was trying to put up a satellite, right? And their satellite was supposed to be out there to get rid of space debris, to clear out the area around and to destroy it. Some very, very smart individual said, well, hang on a second. You're basically putting a destruction satellite up. What happens if you're at war with somebody and you just see that satellite pass by? Can you just murk that one out of the sky? And I think the answer is yes, honestly. I think the answer is yes. And that part is a bit concerning to me, because if they allow China to put up a satellite that is supposed to destroy space debris, it very much is going. I think it's very likely that it's going to be used to knock out satellites of those that they of their enemies, not to just handle space debris. But maybe that's just me not trusting the CCP. Can't imagine what would make me not trust them. But, that's just a thought there. That's more my concern about the whole spiel. The hypersonic part, while it is headline worthy, I don't know if it's as concerning as the media has made it out to be.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, it got more attention than China pushing back against the US after they called for Taiwan to join the UN.
Right.
Which I fully support, by the way, not China.
Yep, same. Well, it's funny because I've been, while I was also away, I perused some of the UN Rights Council videos. And there's a singular guy who likes to go in there. It's UN Human Rights Watch or something like that. UN Watch, I think it is. And his whole thing is basically to talk about the inhumanity that is being done at the hands of the UN, or the hypocrisy that is being shown by members of the UN regarding things like, for example, Palestine and Israel. Because that's a hot topic all the time. And when you have people like Libya and Egypt and Saudi Arabia and Pakistan on the Human Rights Council, you kind of go, I think you're biased.
A little bit.
Yeah. Oh, and Cuba too. And Venezuela. I don't know if you've noticed there's a trend here.
I can't imagine what it is.
Yeah. But anyway, no, so in terms of the China thing, I'm not really too concerned at it.
What, that's the hypersonic or Taiwan?
Okay, Taiwan thing is more of an issue to me. I actually do believe that if China, I don't know if China's going to risk invading, because that would
they have
cause
moved
a lot
things
of
to
issues.
position to do so. That's known. They've been moving flights nearer, aircraft nearer. They've been moving troops nearer.
Yeah, I'm just worried to see if they have the actual balls to do it.
The thing with China is, like, they believe that the 1971 UN resolution gives them a right to represent the island. But the islanders said, no, fuck off now. Leave us alone. This is like Catalonia in Spain. I fully believe in, support your right to independence, and you should be given your chance to. China just took everything and then said, no, fuck everyone else now. Your rights mean nothing to us. It's why they've stolen Hong Kong. It's why they stole Tibet. They're pricks.
Also, do you notice that the Tibet thing just kind of randomly showed up again?
Yeah, I noticed. And by the way, just to show you how little that China don't give a fuck, at that COP26, China didn't even bother turning up. China and Turkey are like, no, we're not interested in protecting the planet. They're very much interested only in their little bubbles. They're not interested in the wider picture. And China, it's interesting for China because they consider themselves they consider themselves the number one in the world. Okay, well, if you're number one in the world, why are you so adamant you must be separate from everyone else? You're a fucking hipster nation and a control freak.
Well, I mean, let's think about it. They're having a huge financial crisis. I mean, they were having massive issues. So I would imagine that there are compounding issues why they didn't show up to the COP26. Probably because even if they did, they probably don't know. Like, let's say an ambassador was sent. I bet you the ambassador has not yet been even told what the correct thing to say to be in line with the party is, because the party is still probably figuring shit out. So I bet you the reason they didn't show up is because if they appeared like they didn't have the answer on a national stage, there would only be so much that they could cover up.
China haven't got an answer because they're busy pushing their huge industrial thing, which, because it's not environmentally friendly in the slightest, is perfect for them because they get to make money. And while simultaneously pushing policy where they say, we don't want you to make loads of money because they want the money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very much about slave labor, low human rights, and controlling everything they can get their hands on. Even if it means breaching every treaty known to exist to do so. And for the sake of it, I'll agree with the chat. Catalonia, Taiwan, sure, we'll add Texas as well. Everywhere. Anyone that wants to be independent, you should have your right to do so, to vote on it. And if it's agreed upon by the majority, ta-ta for now.
Yeah. That's a fair point. That's a fair thing to say. If you all vote on it, you all agree.
Well, a majority does.
Go ahead.
Can't say all, because there'll always be one little prick who's like, in Taiwan, if you said it was everyone, there'd be one little troll who's like, I mean, I know you guys want to, but no.
Right. The majority. If under a democratic process, this checks out, then yeah, absolutely. I think that's perfectly fine. No, but China they have great leverage. I mean, they own basically the world's debt. Now, of course, they could just the world could just get along with the idea of just saying, "Hey guys, you just all want to not pay them, Yeah, okay, cool, let's do it." I was talking to somebody, and they were telling me that the Romans actually would sometimes get together and just clear their debt to each other because of other such behaviors that they would provide for one another. They would just say, "Yeah, you don't owe me anymore," and they would periodically just clear their debts. And I was like, I don't know how much of that's true, but if that's true, like at all, I mean, yeah, but it would have to be of people who genuinely want to not hold anything over anybody else. And that doesn't quite work when you're talking about nations that are aiming nukes at each other. Though I wanna definitely like peer into the minds of some crazy people and see which country would be the first one to end all humanity. I'm surprised that leftists are so anti-war, considering they would, they're talking about overpopulation being a problem. Sorry, random thought. Do you want to talk about Biden shitting himself?
I'll quickly touch on something else. France has been a bit of a dick to the United Kingdom. More recently, they seized a British trawler and slapped it with a £63,000 fine because they accused the vessel of fishing illegally, which is not entirely true in the slightest. In fact, Macron he's playing a rather interesting game. The game is simple. He's up for re-election and he wants to look like a big boy. To do so, he's being a twat to us on fishing rights. The thing here is, he's entirely in the wrong, and he knows it, and he's actually causing enough problems that at some point in the very near future, military action is going to take place across the channel because of him. Not just because he's allowing many boats to continue to arrive in the United Kingdom with illegal migrants, because he's letting them through, which doesn't make him look good, by the way. It tells me he can't protect his own borders. But he's also seizing British property and using it as some kind of trophy, way of saying, look, we can push these pricks back. We're strong. We're not cheese-eating surrender monkeys, which is entirely what you are, you stupid little socialist prick. To the point when at COP, for example, Macron and Boris actually did meet. And they had a little standoff, not like that of a boxer standing in front of another boxer, But when it comes to this is what another of the main points it comes down to is the fishing licenses, because we've rejected a deadline set by Macron, which because he wants us to give them more licenses to work in UK waters. But as part of the agreement with Brexit, no, you're not allowed to. So he's moving his border about to try and make it seem like we're in his waters, but in reality, no. That's not it at all. Shut the fuck up. Stop it. They then have said they're gonna bar our boats from fishing some ports and tighten the customs checks on lorries from tomorrow unless we grant them more licenses. Well, you know what the answer to that is as well?
Fuck you.
No! We are not giving you shit, you stupid little prick. You're a little bitch. Go home to your grandmother wife. Shut the fuck up. You're pathetic.
You know, I had similar opinions about France, but I had mixed opinions because I was arguing with a socialist who actually was a co-worker of mine while I was traveling, and I was talking about France and how we kind of screwed them out of the submarine deal. So we were talking about that. Yeah, we were talking about that, and you know, basically commented saying that, well, okay, we're probably doing it because, you know, China is a major issue and we can't necessarily just let France do things. We have to be involved, obviously. Which is fine, is like I'm not too fucking worried about that. But for whatever reason, that was one of the conversations that was had almost immediately when Biden got to this summit in fucking Rome, or no, yeah, it was in Rome having the conversation with Macron, and I was just like, who the fuck cares, dude? The dude has like a 28% approval rating. No one gives a shit about him. I would be surprised if he makes it through the next election. Stop apologizing.
He's still in obviously the way they do this system. It's more of a representation over percentages. It's not like a straight up popularity contest, preferential thing. The annoying thing for us in the UK is he has made threats which include things like the Channel Islands, which are crown dependencies, not crown royal. Fuck, that's a drink. Crown dependencies, but they're very near France. They are ours. They're very much part of the United. People say the United Kingdom is England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland. I would argue that also should include Gibraltar. It should also include Jersey, Guernsey, Lithu, Sark, and there's one other I can never remember its name. Alderney. That's Spain? It. Alderney. Well, yes, but it's ours. So I consider it a part of the United Kingdom. I think it's the right thing to say, because we've had it longer than they've been a country. Fuck off.
Yeah, yeah, but like you had India before India was a country.
That was part of that's different. We let them have that back. We're not giving everything else back.
Well, you know, usually when people start setting themselves on fire, yeah, it probably looks bad.
A little bit. We're all about them optics. Point is, they're making a load of threats, and they're including things they shouldn't be able to include. And the thing is, politicians in the United Kingdom have already said that they need to withdraw them, or they'll use mechanisms of the trade agreement with the EU to then take action against France. Simple as that. But the difference between us and Macron is quite simple. Firstly, our Prime Minister has a higher approval rating. Second, he has a higher majority than Macron, the President. Cute. Third, our boats are bigger. Fourth, we have never been known really to roll over. You know this because when we negotiated with you the last time, because they bothered to, we didn't roll over and you guys blinked first. So why is he acting tough? Because he's up for re-election. Okay, let's talk about Biden shitting himself.
But do you think anybody like actually buys his bullshit?
The casuals, yes.
That's sad.
It is, but you know what? We'll let it slide for now. So, COP26, or are we going to the Vatican?
Yeah, we're going to the Vatican.
Let's go to the Vatican then. What happened, Trups? What happened? I only saw the video. I only saw a motorcade of like 100 cars or something.
Okay, so yeah, apparently they were motorcading around in 85 like cars, but
that's
apparently
far too many.
Yeah, right. And also they were at a what was the summit for? What was it for?
COP26 in
Glasgow. Which is what?
Climate change.
Which is for what? Oh, okay, cool. And those 85 cars, worth it?
Those cars are gas guzzlers, and you know it.
SUVs, dude.
They
are. A lot of them were Chevy SUVs.
I noticed. I was thinking, wow, pump on the heart here. Way to save the world, boys. Way to save the world. Fucking twats. It
is. It's bad, isn't it? Definitely bad optics. But okay, cool. So there was an individual who said, okay, well, the trip into the Vatican took a bit longer because, quote, Biden had a bathroom accident. They did not specify what this bathroom accident was.
Let's go, Brandon. Come on.
This is my president, dude. The fuck?
I'm sorry, but the amount of times that I saw your...
I didn't vote for him.
Your previous president, every tiny detail was reported on his mushroom penis and all this nonsense. This, him shitting himself or having a crap or whatever, has barely gotten any coverage. I'm sorry. Can you journalists now just admit you're biased beyond mention?
No, they can't. They don't even accept it for themselves. Like they don't.
Let's take a joke as well, because this is too funny not to mock.
It's so painful, dude.
Your president, he shit himself.
yeah, he did.
He shit himself. Did he actually shit himself
though? So unconfirmed. But
allegedly,
I want to ask you,
ask away.
If anybody said, "Hey, I might be a while," there was a bathroom accident.
Yeah.
What would your first thought be?
They shot themselves.
Yeah, or they're having an explosive diarrhea moment.
Or they're having issues actually pooping. Sure,
but that wouldn't be considered an accident, you see.
The accident part's the real...
complications.
Yeah. It's not like he peed on the seat here, in which case get some disinfectant and wipe it off.
Right. You wouldn't describe this kind of situation as an accident. You would describe it as complications or... he was held up by personal matters, right? Mm-hmm. But you say bathroom accident, and there's only one thing that a person would go, yeah, that's what happened, and it's you shit yourself.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it was Crowder this morning was making the comment that based on the debate stage when he was just doing the cornholio, it looked like he was trying to hold in from shitting himself.
I mean, at his age, I'm not trying to be ageist or anything like that, but I would have. I've always been led to believe as someone gets a bit older, they struggle a little bit more with functions.
Absolutely, and I maintain what I said during the campaign that putting Biden in office is akin to elder abuse because the guy wasn't all there to start with.
I found out years ago.
And now he's even less there, and they're basically just forcing this man to endure, like, the worst kind of embarrassment. Imagine for a second that this was your father or your grandfather, and somebody continuously paraded him around as if he was completely fine, and you know damn well that he's not, and that what he needs is to be home and resting.
There wouldn't be a secret. No, let's hypothetically assume that it was my father in office. He would have been removed from office by me. I would have dragged him out of there and said, "No, not happening. Fuck off."
Exactly.
He's going home because you can say he has constitutional, job or some shit. Like, no, shut the fuck up. He clearly can't. Someone go do the 25th. It's over.
Yeah. Because honestly, I am sad for the
25th, is
man
that it?
because yeah, the 25th Amendment, which
Yeah.
allows you to actually remove a
Yeah.
sitting president.
Ta-ta, Dad, you're going home, you're going to bed, alright?
Yeah, because right now it's awful, dude. Like I wouldn't want this even though I don't like Joe Biden, I
No,
don't like seeing him like this.
I watched a recent speech he gave. I think he was, I can't remember where he was, but I looked at his face and it reminded me of Dark Eldar characters where they have skin stretched so much on their face and it just looks so unnatural. Well, he's probably one of the few guys you can say he's mixed race, but only because his eyes were not quite what they meant to look like.
Mm.
It just, and that's a really shitty joke, but it's an obvious one, okay?
No, I get it. I actually have
He
been.
looks so stretched and so worn, and I'm sorry, but there's no, he can keep going on about this 1.75 trillion Build Back Better plan and how all the concessions being made to get it through. I'm
Which
sorry,
is still not resolved yet, by the
no,
way.
it's not. You ditched the paid parent leave and all that stuff, which by the way amused me to no end. You know,
Oh, right.
it amused me.
It was
because
actually something on principle too.
Yeah, and it was something that Merkel had reached out to Pelosi and Schumer about. I did a video on BitChute about this, by the way, on that particular subject. By all means, go follow me there and watch it. It's an exclusive on BitChute. But it's just, to me, really stupid because it's not going through yet. And you can keep bragging about it, but what are you accomplishing? Fuck all. Absolutely fuck all. And you're making someone suffer in the process. And I know a lot of people are quite, big on... I don't really mind. I have no opinion on Biden, really. I don't really give a shit because I'm English. It means nothing to me. But
I don't even think Biden is making the calls. I'm gonna be honest.
well, that's something I've said as well. I don't believe he is, and that's not a nice thing to say for you. I'm sorry. This is. I mean, you think that for the last 4 years, many have been embarrassed that Trump's their president, but they're okay now that it's somebody who can barely string two sentences together. At least the last guy could tweet them, and you know it came from him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a complete sentence with grammar and everything. Not that you'd know this now for certain, because those tweets are all gone. Thank you, Twitter.
Yeah, true.
I'm sorry, but this guy's not in control of his life or his faculties. It is elder abuse, and the man shat himself now. And we know he shat. It's alleged, of course, but come on, he shat himself.
Yeah.
He has no control. He now needs to wear adult diapers, alright? That's embarrassing. He should just go home. Yeah, let him rest.
There is no dignity for a man like this. Like, you are literally forcing him to enter into a scenario where he is robbed of his dignity whenever his age catches up to him for a moment.
Yeah.
And that's not okay. That is not okay to put anybody through.
Not okay in the slightest.
But of course, nobody actually gives a shit, apparently.
No, because status quo is more important than, than the individual, which is hardly a surprise. It's pretty much how it's gone for years. Let's not forget here, now, and I'll quote the chat, he is the most popular president in US history.
Oh, God, yeah.
Voted by such a large margin. It's just not sus.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, that might have been one of my first thoughts about what I was going to tweet on Truth.
I'm
social.
Not surprised in the slightest.
Oh, I know. But honestly, man, like all things aside, I don't even know if Kamala would be better, but Biden needs to go home.
She would then be the person that took over. But she wouldn't be better, and she won't get a second term. His rating is. There's no way she saves the ratings to retain the House.
She has a worse rating than Biden, and Biden has a fucking shit rating.
Is it as bad as Trump's?
Worse.
Oh, in that case, then he's going to lose the House.
The aggregate poll has Biden down below Trump. I think it was really funny for a Rasmussen poll or something like that.
I'm no lie, I think this would make me laugh and probably cry a little bit the most, is that when the midterms happen, he retains the House.
Oh, that would literally make people lose their shit.
It would make me laugh because there's no version. I'm sorry, at this moment in time, it would have to be shenanigans.
I mean, Yeah.
I'm not saying the first time wasn't, but you know, it just, it's not my country. I don't really care enough. But since we commented on it in here, it certainly is a strange enough thing. And yes, please give us 50 likes. We like the licks. We appreciate it.
Yeah, apparently it was just about August, late August, where the approval and disapproval ratings crisscrossed. And ever since then, right now, the President Biden job approval is at 51% disapprove, 43% approve.
So yeah, I do wonder if that's probably Biden voter regret, like Trump voter regret. Part of me thinks that obviously that happens with every president anyway, so you expect it. We're not really going to know too much until nearer the election season itself, really, to know whether he's actually accomplished anything in these, in his term, if he makes it there in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Man looks healthier a long time ago.
Usually, right? Usually, presidents will encounter like a grace period within their first year.
Yeah, well, he's not even got that far. He had 107 days off so far.
Yeah, that was even
more than Trump.
There's more than Trump, and actually more than Obama as well.
Well, Obama had the least. He had what, 70?
I think
Bush
Trump had like 89 or something like that.
Yeah,
93.
Bush was slightly higher, wasn't he? Yeah,
higher than Obama. I think less than Trump.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah, he was somewhere around them though, and then you got Biden, who's like 20 ahead of everyone else.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Now, some people have had some rumors or conspiracies about that, and they think that he's going home to see personal doctors.
I mean, I'd expect a man of that age to be a creature of habit. But I think, considering all the shit that, like, Obama got lots of crap for going to play golf, and then Trump got the exact same shit for it, and I'm just like, but this isn't getting any commentary at all. It was okay once and then twice, but not. I'm sorry. I mean, I never. Obviously, I wasn't really involved in politics back then. I rarely saw anything commenting on Bush, but I do recall him being considered incredibly busy with the whole, 9/11 thing.
Because I think I was too young to keep up with the coverage around Bush, so I don't necessarily recall about
I do with Obama and I do with Trump, obviously, and
right.
There's nothing now, and I'm just like, this is too quiet. I'm sorry. How do you have a world leader on arguably the biggest country on the planet, kind of like the most powerful,
Right. And one of the most powerful countries, yeah.
And you're hearing absolutely nothing about their world. I'm sorry. Our leader, let's go with the Prime Minister. We hear everything he does. Our Queen in hospital at the moment, or in and out, because she's not well, I think. Right? We know about this. We hear about it. But Biden, nothing? We hear silence. I mean, that is the sound of silence, and don't know we're not doing a cover, but the sound of silence when it comes to it's good. From a world leader and their lack of presence is an alarming thing to hear. Because it shouldn't be that way. You're in high office. If I have to hold Trump to the same standards as Obama, I have to hold Biden to the same standards as Obama and Trump. And it's very unpresidential to not be there, to not be present.
Well, it would be hard to even remotely, expect Biden to fill the shoes of Obama or Trump or Bush for that matter, because they were just a lot more with it. I mean, let's just think about the amount of public addresses that those three presidents made versus Biden. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, you must admit that there is something cognitively wrong with Biden to not be able to be trusted enough to actually speak. They won't let him. The amount of shoveling out of the room at every major conference that he goes to, this is unacceptable.
That's why I consider it unpresidential. It's not I mean, this is where Obama kind of sets a standard. Because, and I would say Bush too, but Bush was klutzy, but funny klutzy.
Sure.
But he was still also president. I would say those two, in my knowledge of your politics, very presidential. If they're the baseline, Trump, of course, he took that and skewed it a bit with his his bluntness, which I loved. Honesty, let's go with that, maybe. And then you've got nothing, no presence, no character. It's because it is, as earlier stated, elder abuse. It might be one of the contributing factors why he shot himself, allegedly.
Right, allegedly. But I legitimately think that if they can just like if they can't piece it through, if they can't do something within the year, we're gonna have an actual problem, right? We're going to have an actual problem if they can't figure out what the fuck to do with this man.
Well, the obvious answer is, and I would like to believe they would actually consider it. Article 20, no, not Article 20, 25th.
The 25th Amendment, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Article 25 is something completely different. That's a UK thing, I believe. Yeah, I think he'd be removed. But I think they'll do it. I think if they did do it, they would do it around the midterms if he performed really badly. I think they'd then sit there and go, we've got more chance with Harris Pelosi than we do with Biden Harris. And I think if that happened, I think then you're guaranteed Trump. To then probably guarantee a campaign. Not because he doesn't think he can beat Biden, but because he can absolutely weaponize the feck out of it.
God, that's a scary thought. I mean, not because of Trump, but because of that's what we're reduced to.
Yeah.
The idea that we would have to pull in a Nancy Pelosi and Kamala ticket is really, really depressing.
It is, but it's one hell of a way to end the stream.
Yeah, true.
We have exceeded our time for the week. We'll be back here on Friday unless Chups isn't here.
I'll be here.
Yay! Which means we'll be back here at 9:45 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, which is something in American. What is it?
So that would be 5:45 Eastern.
Okay, that works. Or 6:45 Central. Is that it?
Yeah.
Cool. I have nothing to shill. I mean, no, I have loads of things to shill, but I'm not doing it today. I'm getting tired, so no. Does Trump have anything to shill?
Not yet. I'm still getting my bearings from returning and getting all the things. Now that my holidays are done, I can probably put out a video sometime this week.
That's good news, because Trups has made more recent videos, and you should all go check him out. His channel should be linked down below. Thank you, by the way, for those who have followed us on Spotify. We just hit 200 followers, which is brilliant. Very grateful. This stream will be up there, and the audio will be absolutely sexified. Yeah, I'm getting better at it, people. All right. It'll be up tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you Friday. Say goodnight, Trups.
Good night, Trups.
Good night, Trups.